South Wayne Coach Conversation brought to you by Becker Hardware and Dave's Collision Shop. We're with Warrior Coach Jason Ohrt. He made the trip down to AGWSR and got the victory last week, 42-7. What were your takeaways from that game, Coach?
We did a really nice job on both sides of the ball to start the game. Had scored on every possession, got out to a 35-0 lead at the half. We were even able to convert in the 2-minute offense, which we've been kind of sketchy with at the start of the season. We made some nice plays in the passing game there in the 2-minute deal, and got off to a really good start and got a lot of kids a chance to play in the second half.
And you mentioned last week you wanted to see some improvement from your defense. You ended up giving up 7 points, got a takeaway. You had 8 tackles for a loss and 4 sacks. Those were what the numbers say. What did the film say about your defensive performance?
We really challenged the defensive line in particular this week. We were not getting a lot of production out of that unit in the first half of the season. And so those guys stepped it up. We did some changes. We were doing a little bit more slanting, pinching, things like that, trying to get those guys to move a little bit more at the snap. And I think that helped get them in a little bit better position to make some plays in the backfield. We had 5 tackles. 5 of those tackles for loss came from our defensive front line, and that was kind of one of our goals this week, for them to be able to produce that amount. And so they really were up to the challenge, and they improved. And overall, I thought defensively we played really well, except for we had a breakdown in coverage that led to the 1 touchdown pass in the second half. But we also had a couple guys in that maybe weren't too comfortable in their position, and sometimes that happens, and you give up a play like that.
And I know the way the game went, you got to play a lot of people, but seemingly, statistically, especially in the running game, it was more of a collective effort instead of just relying on one person last week. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, we were able to get multiple backs involved in the running game. They did a nice job. They went in and they wanted to take away the dive. We still had good production out of the dive, but then Braden Todd made some really nice plays on some pull reads and design runs, and then we were able to flip it out to the perimeter a few times too, and make some plays. And the passing game went really well. 6 of 7, 192 yards. Can't have much better night than that, throwing the football. So that's why we do what we do. We're geared around the fullback. I think everybody knows that by now. And if you start to take that away, we just got to have the other guys step up and make their plays.
And you mentioned Braden's passing numbers. His rushing numbers very good as well. 9 carries, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. How has he progressed as a quarterback within your system throughout the course of the year?
Well, he's just developed the overall, abilities. He's always been able to throw the ball well. Coming in as a freshman, we knew, hey, this kid could throw the ball. He's accurate. He's got the ability to run out of the pocket. Throwing the run too as well. The option element takes time, and when you come in, as a freshman, it takes a little bit of time to kind of get in rhythm and get your reads down, and then by the time you're a sophomore, junior, things start to click a little bit. And for him now, he's had a lot of reps, and he's been the guy all season, and he's really making great decisions very consistently, and that's the key in our offense.
And looking at this might be a minor thing, but on the special teams end of things, you were 6 for 6 on the extra points this year, and Carson has been very reliable, 17 for 18 on those extra points this year. And oftentimes in small school football, that isn't going to be the case. How comfortable does it make it knowing the fact that you got a guy that's going to put it through the uprights way more often than that?
Yeah, it's nice to be able to know, and then it's pretty much automatic
Yeah.
when he's out there, and the extra points anyway. And we really feel comfortable with him kicking from quite a bit of distance away. We work on it in practice. We haven't had really that situation yet in a game where we've had to kick a 35, 40, 45-yard field goal. But we feel confident that if we get into that position, we can do it.
And this week, you got Nashville Plainfield coming to town. What are you expecting out of the Huskies?
Hard-nosed running attack. They run the same offense basically as we do, but they don't run the option element out of it. More so focused on just the design runs and some counters and traps and things like that. But they're going to be physical up front. They're going to try and get the running game going. I feel like we have the edge when it comes to the passing game. It's just going to come down to which team protects the ball better, plays better in special teams, and makes some plays on defense.
When you're facing a team similar to you, does that help in preparation during the week? Does that make it a little bit of a challenge in preparation, or is it one thing that I'm looking from the outside looking in and trying to make an issue when there isn't one there?
It helps.
Okay.
It helps a little bit, just from a standpoint, our kids are really comfortable lining up and seeing what's in front of them because they see it in practice on a daily basis. So that from that standpoint, it helps a little bit. But they're built a little bit different than we are. They've got a lot more depth in their backfield than we do. So like I said, they're going to be a lot more run. Believe it or not, they're going to probably be a lot more run focused than we are. So we're really just kind of geared up and looking at those guys as individuals and okay, what can they do? What are some of their favorite plays, things like that. But yeah, as far as lining up and getting kind of get it comfortable as far as what to look for, it is helpful for our kids.
All right, game might be over by 8:30, 8:45 come Friday night, but hopefully it's a Warrior victory. Hopefully you can keep kids healthy. Best of luck to you, Coach.
All right, thanks for the time, Darren.
Jason Ohrt, head coach of the South Winn Warriors, brought to you by Dave's Collision Shop and Becker Hardware.